Welcome to the People, Passion, and Purpose podcast, where you will hear from creative small business owners in the trenches every single day, talking story, talking lessons, talking failures, talking truth. I'm your host, Nina L. Kovner. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, we have a guest that we have been trying to book for what it seems like fucking forever. And so I'm extra grateful that we finally have a chance to sit down with the awesome Gina Bianca. Gina's a salon owner, educator, coach, influencer, and just all around badass human being. Gina, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Nina. I'm so happy to be here, and thanks for the amazing introduction.
You're welcome. I'm so stoked we finally made this happen. And of course, I have a million questions, so let's just dive right in. Why did you choose hairdressing as your profession, and when? When did all this begin for you?
Amazing question. So how I got started in the industry, I was a C&D student. So I literally started applying to colleges and didn't get accepted anywhere because if it didn't interest me, I didn't go. So in class, I would skip all the time. And I just wasn't, if I wasn't interested in something, I just wasn't into it. So I decided I wasn't going to go to college. I was just going to work at a restaurant. And my mom was just like, nope, you have to do something. Let's go look at trade schools. And I was like, okay, fine. So I went to the Paul Mitchell School in North Haven, and I went there, and I went to a bunch of other places too. But, I went there and I immediately felt like at home. I was just like, okay, I can do this. Like, this is something that seems really fun. Like, they made everything seem like super fun. So I was just like, I could definitely do this. So I did the 1-year program. And during that year, I fell in love with the industry. I had so many mentors. It was really like an amazing way to start my career. I had an amazing education, and I'm so grateful for that, but it was definitely by accident. And I definitely wasn't one of those people born with scissors in their hand. It was kind of like, I hear people say they're like, I'm born to cut hair. And I was just like, yeah, no, it's not me. I'm not even that good. I'm pretty good, but there's people who are this wasn't my lifelong dream. It was just something that I fell into, and I really am grateful. I've been able to do so many things with my cosmetology license. So
I love that. And yeah, I was one of those people that used to take all the Barbies and cut their hair because dolls freak me out. I didn't like to play with dolls, but I did like to do their hair.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. It's just, I never knew I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. That was what I wanted to be.
Oh my God.
Yes. I was obsessed with Nip Tuck, obsessed with, those shows like Botched. Now it's called Botched, but before there was these crazy transformation shows. And I was just so inspired and what's the word? Captivated by people who would go to such lengths to change themselves. And it was just so fascinating to me. And I was obsessed, and I wanted to be a plastic surgeon, but bitch, you have to show up to class to be a plastic surgeon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Thank God you do have to have a lot of schooling.
I know. Well, some places you don't. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was I was like, oh my God, definitely not going. I couldn't even dream to go to college. It was just I could not sit and do classes that had nothing to do with why I was there, which is why I love Paul Mitchell so much, because everything we did was about what we were there to do. And it was just really, that helped me as a student to and anything I am interested in, I become obsessed with learning about.
Yeah.
So I think that that's always been the case. I just had to find something interesting.
You mentioned when you were sharing about this experience of finding beauty school mentors. You mentioned that you found a lot of your mentors. How have mentors impacted your career thus far?
Well, I think that the general population now, the way that it is now, people are so lucky to have this podcast, for example, to be able to be in proximity with so many people, even if you can't get in the room with them, just putting them in your ear. And I think that we don't appreciate that enough because I remember when I was in beauty school, I had drained my bank account and purchased the Robert Cromines Seriously, the 16 disc.
Yes.
and I bought it from him at a hair show and he signed it for me and I still have it. But like every single day I would listen to him to and from school. I didn't listen to music. I only listened to Robert. And I was like literally brainwash obsessed with everything that he said, everything that he did, his viewpoint on things. It just made sense to me. I love like everything, you know, and it was something that I listened to every day. And now since beauty school, I've been obsessed with podcasts. If I don't know about something and I want to learn about it, I can easily find it. I keep my mentors in my ears. Even if I can't get into the room with them, I really take advantage of technology and the fact that just because you can't be in proximity with someone, like you can't be in the same room with them, does not mean you can't be in proximity with them. And plus, they're literally like sharing everything they know in like an audiobook.
Right.
Like if I wrote a book right now, it would be literally everything I knew. That's how much like I would need to fill a book. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
So you're like condensing like in 8 hours what someone's learned in like most of their life, you know? So I like have always appreciated what I have when it comes to technology and being able to listen to people. So as far as how mentors have, you know, helped me, just having people in my ear all the time, that was huge for me and a huge reason of why I am where I am, because I always had positivity in my ear. And if there was negativity, it just didn't really matter because the positivity sounded better.
I love that. I love that. And it's so true, tapping into, I mean, it is amazing how much technology is available and how many resources are available. Of course, when I went to beauty school, the internet didn't exist. Okay, but that's another podcast. What inspired you to open your first salon? And what are some of the most important lessons you learned?
Oh my God, I learned so much from my first salon. I think the biggest lesson that I've learned from it is that it's just a business. It was everything to me. It was my business was my whole entire life. It was everything I eat, breathe, sleep, dreamed of. Like that business was my entire life. And I lost sight of myself a lot through that process. And you are a huge reason why I got my shit together, because you saw me in Utah and you were like, you're doing the same shit you've been doing. Like, you know, and that like helped me really realize that like, okay, I'm a person too. Like I definitely lost my identity with the business. And I think it's really easy to lose your identity when you have a business. But what made me open the salon was I was really, really busy. I started working with assistants. I loved training these people and they wanted to like use my chair or like they wanted to do hair. And I was just like, you know, I always wanted to open a salon. Ever since I listened to Robert Cromeans, I always wanted to open a salon. However, you know, it was never the right time for me. The door kept getting closed in my face and it was just like I was in a bad relationship. Like it was just never the right time. And when I started working with assistants and working with people and realizing the impact I can have on them, I really like that was like the main reason. Like I loved working behind the chair, seeing like 3 or 4 clients and having 2 or 3 assistants working with me. And then the best feeling in the world was watching them grow and take guests and do $150,000 in 1 year when it took me 7 years to do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Watching people grow really was what GBH was all about and what it always will have been about. You know what I mean? And realizing that like, you know, I'm evolving. Like I opened GBH when I was 22 years old and they don't teach you what owning a business is like. You just kind of go into it. Like you can go to business school, but like we ain't got the budget for that. Like we're going to figure this out for ourselves. Like I literally like figured everything out. I took tons of classes. I did what I had to do. But like, you know, when I started evolving and I'm a 27-year-old woman now, I'm a completely different person than I was when I opened.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when I saw my life evolving and I saw the day to day that the salon, like what it really was and like what I was signing up to do. Cause I kept complaining about it. Like, I'm like, why do I have to tell people not to be late? Why do I have to tell people to show the fuck up? Why do I have to tell people to post their openings? Like, why don't these people want to work? And like my whole job was literally like praising as much as I possibly could, but like dealing with like these little things that were just too little for me. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it was just like too little for me to like, it just wasn't my purpose anymore. And it was like, I love my staff. I love the business. I love our customers. But like, I had to realize that it's just a business. Like I'm a person, like I have a life. And if I want to evolve and help more people, I can't be doing the same thing. I have to evolve. Like if the business closes, I'm not going to die. Like I literally associate it so much to like me that like I didn't even have an identity. So I think what made me open the salon was education and training. What made me close it was realizing what the day-to-day life is like and what the immense pressure of leadership truly is on a one-on-one basis, like a true, and the fact that people will leave and you get hurt and that's just life. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Like you have to accept all of that and that's fine. But when I realized what it truly was and I kept being unhappy for a certain amount of time and, it is what it is, but closing it taught me that it's any business that I create, anything that I do, any class that I teach, whatever I do is only a part of me. It's not me. So for me, like the biggest gift I think that, the whole first experience gave me was instead of just being miserable and looking back 30 years and letting my ego and my pride have me, like I could be living two completely different lives. Like I could be living a completely different life. I talk to people, I'm like, do you think owning a salon is worth it? And they're like, no, I feel like I wasted the last 30 years of my life. And I'm just like, I would rather die. You know what I mean? And then there's some salon owners who just fucking live for it and kill it. And those are the people who should be salon owners.
Agreed.
Those are the people. And I don't think, I've been getting like some like hate here and there because I just think that the way things are going to be is just going to be different. Like I think that the only people who truly are going to be able to be salon owners they have to live and breathe it. And their whole heart, life, goal, and mission needs to be growing people and taking care of their people. Like that has to be the whole thing.
I mean, and that is business, right? I mean, people join cultures, this, and people join leaders, and leadership is not a quote on Instagram. Leadership is hard. Leadership requires a certain amount of commitment, as you said, and not everyone's cut out to be a leader. And you could also change direction and path.
Exactly.
I mean, I did that. I left a 25-year career as a leader, as a more traditional leader with a team, and created a business where I chose not to build a team. Instead, I empower others to build teams and do whatever else awesome they want to do. So just because you decided that you don't want to do something anymore doesn't mean you're not qualified. I think what the big takeaway from what you shared is that self-awareness to say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing. No, It's just like, I felt like the whole thing for me was, I was like, it was my pride and ego. Like, gee, you don't like doing this. Stop complaining about it and move on. And you've talked to me about this, and it's just like a lot of ego, a lot of pride. It's like, my name is on the door. If it closes, what will people think? Like, we built $1 million business. Like, I don't really give a shit what people think. You know what I mean? It's like, right. It's like, I don't give a shit what people think about me at this point. And you know what, the way that we closed, and I took care of all my staff, and everyone is fine. Everything is good. And now I get to help people on a different level and do what I came here to do. Right. And I feel like the salon gave me, like, definitely, it helped me get to where I am today for sure. But I think that the biggest strength of it was letting it go and not letting my ego hold on to it.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
It is.
So you have a new salon. So we're talking about not being a salon owner, but you actually did open another salon.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Let's talk about the network, which is a lease-based salon. Why did you choose that model? And where did the name come from? I want to know more about the name, and I want to know what inspired you to completely switch your belief system, your approach to this new business model.
Yeah, I know it seems so weird to people, and trust me, I've heard it from everybody. I'm like, I know. But my original salon was team-based pay, and I love the employee-based business model. I think it's amazing. I think it requires a ton of leadership, and I just started traveling so much I couldn't do it anymore, and it just wasn't, it requires a lot of leadership. It's not set it and forget it. It was for a little while for me, but honestly, like, unless you're there, I don't recommend. Anyway, so when I lost my whole team in 12 I lost 12 team members in a year. I lost my whole team in a year. And it was one of the most, like, heartbreaking things for me. And when the last team member left, I contemplated, I was just like, I don't know if I can do this again. Because everybody leaves. Like there's nothing wrong with leaving your job. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But like as the leader part of it, it was just too much. Like it's just like one after the other and then explaining to clients and then them never speaking to us again. And then the awkward. And no matter how nice we tried to do it, it just never worked. And when my last team member left, I loved her to death. Like it just was sad, you know, and it always is on good terms, but it's just weird, you know? And I think that that's with a lot of jobs or whatever, especially in this business. But when she left, I was talking to one of my friends and I was just like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. You know, I don't know if I can, you know, do this all over again. It's just like really painful for me. I'm a very emotional person. Everyone thinks I'm like this badass, like, cause I say fuck all the time and I have tattoos, but like I have a heart. Like I like, and I'm Italian.
We have fucking hearts, people.
Yeah, like literally, like I'm like full-blooded Italian, and literally, like loyalty is like should be tattooed on my forehead. So like this isn't the right business for me, you know what I mean? And it's just like something that, you know, when my last team member left, I was like talking to my friend, and I'm just like, I don't know, and he's like, don't close. He's like, you need to give them another option because everybody wants to go rental. Not everybody wants to go rental, but everybody wants to live their dream, and a lot of people's dreams are going to be doing shit themselves and making it happen. And they're not going to want to build you anymore. Like you need to let them go, but have an option for them. And it's going to make everything so much easier. And I was just like, you know what? That's really fucking smart. So I looked for places really close to my salon. I didn't want it to be far away because I didn't want my lifestyle to be commuting to 2 different places. So my salon is 1 minute from my previous salon. And I had this idea, you know, a while ago to open a suite rental place, and do guest artists of all of our friends, because there's so many of us who want to be bi-coastal, and there's so many of us who would rent there. And I was just like, we should do it and call it the network, like our network of people. And I was talking to Jay about this, and he was just like, that's fucking brilliant. And I was just like, yeah, we should do that, because he was talking about back and forth, New York, LA, New York, LA. And I'm just like, well, if we go to New York, I'll do this with you. You know, I was just trying to like bribe him to move closer to me. If you want the honest opinion, if you want the honest answer. But yeah, so I was thinking about it. I found space near me. It was beautiful. It was actually the space I looked at when we were first opening GBH. It was still available, but in a different part of the building. Like the building was just being remodeled because our building's like super historic, and it was like an old crazy factory. But I saw a space there, and I met the landlord, and the landlord is what sold me on the place, because him and his wife are doing exactly what Steve and I want to do in our lives. And we wanted those mentors. So 99% of the location, I mean, it's a great rent. It's a great like deal. You know what I mean? But the people there, like I want to surround myself with people as much as I possibly can who I like, who I trust, who I can have fun with, and who are like doing the same shit that I want to do. People who are badasses, people who own businesses. But the landlord sold me on the place. I loved it. And then, you know, I signed the lease maybe 2 weeks after I had that conversation with my friend. And I told my staff, and I was like, you know what? You guys work here. When you're ready, you go rent here, and we'll keep this place like a school, because that's what we're doing anyway. We're educating half the fucking state of Connecticut. Like I might as well get 10 years out of you instead of 2 years. You know what I mean? I'm like not saying this like in that moment, but like, you know, I want to make the relationship longer, and I'll put more into you. But at this point, I don't want to put anything into anybody because it just leaves, you know, it's just like too much. So I was trying to come up with a solution to my everyday problem, which is giving them a hybrid salon, but in 2 separate locations. And the reason I think that that's better is because I think the 2 don't mix well under one roof.
No.
That's just my opinion. I think that there are some salons, and the salon owners are badass hardcore leaders, and that works.
I still would never recommend that.
Yeah.
I mean, just culturally, you know, I mean, it's just a constant culture challenge. It's always going to be.
Yeah. So I didn't want to dog anyone who is doing it if it's working. But for me, it was a big thing, like to not have it under 2 roofs, especially, you know, how team-based pay my salon was. Like my salon was like full on culture, like that would not go well there. Like, but then it just came to the point. It's like, all right, it's 2019. Like, you guys all have Instagram. You guys, if you really want to build a clientele and you really want to do this, let me help you, instead of like, let's like never talk to each other again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know
Yeah.
that that's common with salon owners, and I know that that's common with stylists, because there's like guilt and fear on both sides, and like everybody just wants to be friends, but it's sad. Like, I know it's a super common thing. That's why I'm going to talk about it. But, it's just weird in this business, and I don't
It's
want the
called
weird.
it's called codependency.
Yeah, and it's just like
That's
I
what it
don't
is.
want to have that anymore. That's why like I wanted to solve my own problem. So I spent a fuck ton of money to solve it. And then I ended up, I got to the point where I don't know when it clicked for me. I was going back and forth with closing the salon for like a month or two. And I don't know when it really clicked for me. It was just a moment, and I woke up and I was just like, today's the day. Like, I have to I've made the decision. This is what I have to do. And it was a really difficult decision. It was like a long time.
Mm.
But yeah, so, but it's good though. Like, it is such an amazing thing, and all of them are going to be amazing. Most of them are at network already. They're killing it. They're doing their thing. And, did I answer your question?
Yeah, totally. I think, and I think the other thing, I want to go back to when you said that, everyone wants to go rental. And then you said, well, not everyone, but, and I think the thing that one of the most important things to remember is that regardless of what type of business model people choose to join, whether it's employment based or lease based, the future, the current and future generations, the millennials and the Zs, are going to demand flexibility,
Exactly.
freedom, purpose. And, so I don't care what building you have. It's something that everyone needs to pay closer attention to. And you're addressing that, I mean, you just said it. And so I think we have to remember that, again, no matter what the model, the world has changed. And from my generation, which is the Xers, the workaholics, it's just, that shit doesn't work anymore. The king boss workaholic. It just doesn't work. And so if you want to be happy, you got to pay attention to that. And you obviously have done that and identified that and have created that. And I'm so excited to see the future of the network and actually come and visit in August.
Yes, I can't wait. And, a lot of people are asking me, they're like, so how are you? Like, I get so many messages on Instagram, and I love it. And I love engaging with people, but it's the same questions over and over. Okay. So they're like, how are you running your lease-based salon now? They need to know everything about how I'm running it. And I'm just like, I'm literally treating it like an apartment complex. I have a property manager. Everybody has their station. They have everything they need. They have tons of storage, tons of parking, whatever they want, their own codes.
You're a landlord.
Please. And I'm a fucking landlord. I'm not going to try to make this something that it's not. I see a lot of salon owners trying to make it like for booth renter, they're trying to make it a team. Like, it's not like you can have team tendencies, but like these people are independent. And we try to blur that line. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But my place is completely independent. I want them to do whatever they want. Just please clean up after yourself and don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole and clean up after yourself.
Don't be an asshole.
Really quick, we're able to include all of the education for them too. So that's like a huge thing.
Such a huge thing. Speaking of assholes, let's talk about social media.
Oh yeah, love it.
That was a good segue. Okay, so let's talk about two kind of like big themes that come up often in the social media world, and that is engagement or lack thereof, and assholes / haters. So let's do engagement first. As everyone has seen over the last few years, there has been, a significant drop in engagement. In some cases, how do you navigate that as an influencer, as a business owner, as a human being?
Yeah. So, I gotta be honest with you. I used to be obsessed with this. I used to be literally like crazy about this and like wanting to know everything. And then I kind of simplified it. And I think you'll relate to me on this because like I feel like you have the culture of your tribe so dialed in. I don't look at it as like I just look at it as like, I've built this audience of people who trust me and who I really like engaging with. Like when I post something, I'm showing up for them because I know exactly who I'm talking to. And I know like people say that a lot, but like I like really realize like these people like show up for me. They believe in me. They trust me. They know I swear a lot. They're like here for me. You know what I mean? So when I create content, I'm just creating content to like for them. And other people can listen, like, cool, like, whatever. But like, this is for like specific people. And my content does really well. And I'm like really excited to post and share because like, if I'm going to post it, like I'm posting it for them. You know what I mean? And I put a lot of time and thought into my content and I don't post a lot anymore, really. Like I'll post my flyers for the classes because if people like love my content, then why the fuck aren't they coming to see me in person? Because literally like you think you like my content, meet me in person. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, I'll post flyers here and there, but the content that I post, like the videos or the tips or like the business stuff or the blog posts, like those I put a lot of time into, and I don't have to post 150 times a day and worry about engagement. I just really like to post like for my audience authentically, and that's really helped me a lot. And I always tell people, I'm like, just build it's like going to a party with a bunch of your friends. You go to the party with all of your friends, everybody's there, you're having a great time, and if a hater steps to you, don't you think they're all gonna fucking scream at them or beat the shit out of them? So if somebody writes shit on my post, I used to turn the comments off, and very quickly people were just like, leave them on, we got you. And they'll literally just like go, like they'll fight with them. You know what I mean? To defend me. And it's nothing bad. If it gets to anything that's like weird, I take it right down. Like I'll delete it. Yeah. And I delete comments and stuff like that. But like, it's great for engagement. And it's also amazing to know that like there are people there for you who do believe in you. And I don't incite that, you know what I mean? But like, it's something that's like, fuck the haters, number one, because I came to the party with all my friends. Yeah. And now my life has just become more like engaging with the people who believe in me. Like that's where the sweet spot is for me. Like I hate going to shows, and I'm going to every single show in 2020 because I want to actually like meet people who like show up for me. That's why I love the classes. And you know, that's what social media is. It's connecting people. It's not like post this with these hashtags and get likes. Like who fucking cares about that? You know what I mean? It's just it's just different. And I only realized that and when I would stop being clouded with other shit.
Yeah, totally. Well, that makes me very happy. Let's talk about, so you mentioned the haters and the, your community goes after them. What if someone just has a different opinion? Is that a hater, or do you welcome other points of view?
Oh my God, of course. Yeah. Like I had posted this thing and it was very like, I knew when I posted it that a lot of people would not like it. But I knew that if I posted it, at least one person would have a breakthrough from it. And I got maybe 40 to 50 DMs of people being like, thank you for posting that. I needed to hear it. I've been slacking off and complaining, and everybody probably is annoyed by me because all I do is complain. And I'm like, yeah, step it the fuck up. And you know, half the comments on the thread were, you know, sometimes people can't help it. And I'm just like, I'm just like, you know what? I totally understand that. And I did not mean to offend you in any way, shape, or form. I'm so grateful for you for showing up here on my content. I knew some people wouldn't like this, but I wanted to post it for somebody who would. Please still show up for me. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Like fair. literally, do I get a million comments where I, you know, can't like in person do this? I do get a lot of comments, but I go through and I don't ever want someone to have a bad impression of me. And I know my opinions and views could be a little harsh for some people, but I'm also like a good person. So I don't want someone to get an idea of me because of something I posted, or like, oh, she charges $2 million because she posts price breakdowns. No, I'm just trying to help you sell an extra bowl of color. Like, I'm not a bad person. So I really don't want people to like ever have a bad impression of me. So anytime that I can, I always will like apologize if I offended someone. I do welcome all opinions. But if someone is just saying, hey, you're fat and ugly, like my audience is going to be like, we'll murder you. I'll usually delete those, but some people will comment and be like, it's true. Some people comment and they'll just be like, hey, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I'm just
Okay.
Thank you so much. Like, thank you so much for the engagement. XOXO, heart, heart, smile, smile. My audience is like, where do you live?
Right, right. I love it. I love it. How much
Yeah.
time do you spend online for your business with social and stuff?
I could tell you, maybe 40 hours a week.
40 hours a week. Now that sounds like a full-time job.
Yeah, it's switched up between stuff. So I'll spend, maybe like 5 hours a week going through emails, responding, blah, blah, blah. I'll spend 20 to 30 hours in mastermind or creating content for mastermind. And then the rest of my time is on, maybe like 20 and 20 Instagram and Facebook. Because I'm creating, I include creating content in that time.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
My battery life on my phone will tell me how much time I spent with the Instagram app open.
Mm-hmm.
But like the amount of time I take to like create come up with the idea, create like what the point of it is, and then write it out so as many people as possible can understand it. You know what I mean? That's like it's like I'm educating full time on Instagram for free.
Right.
So it's a lot of time, but I do get to, I do get so much from it. Like I'm living my dream because of an app on a phone.
Yeah, which is such a fucking blessing. So you got a lot on your plate, the new salon, the education, the apparel. How do you keep yourself from burning the fuck out?
Well, I have had many burnout moments, I don't think, all right, so this is what I think.
Know.
I don't think that burning out is literally just like not managing your stress. And then all of a sudden it all comes at once and it's like, boom, done. I'm over. It's over. For me, I have a lot of shit going on, but it's only shit that I like to do. I got rid of the stuff that I don't like to do. Which is pretty much hair behind the chair. I'm going to start taking guests here and there, but I'm going to do it completely different than I've ever done it before. But I didn't like to do hair full time. I didn't like to run the salon full time. I didn't like to do, there was stuff that was just like weighing me down and I couldn't enjoy anything. And that made it way harder. I had way more burnouts and I couldn't manage stress. I just kept running. But now that like it's kind of clear a little bit and I'm only focusing on stuff that's fun. Like today, my work day consists of waking up, having lunch with my friend, doing this podcast, and then making dinner for my family.
That's awesome.
And it's like, wow, I can breathe for a minute. So for like the last couple of weeks, it's been nice to be able to breathe and like figure out, what I want to do. And it's really helped me process a lot of stress. I think processing your stress and processing what happens to you is like the key, because if you don't, it's going to burn up. It's going to come all out at once instead of just like lightly incense. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just like taking care of yourself. Like I've been saying this a lot lately. I don't know where it came from. I like literally was, I think, getting a massage and I thought of it and I was just like, balance is just loving yourself as much as you love what you do. Because like sometimes we just lose our identity. Like I loved my work so much, but I hated myself. You know what I mean? I hid from all of my shit. I ran from all of my shit and I just dove into work. And you know what I mean? Like my mom did this. So many of my friends are doing this and it's like annoying to watch, but I'm just like, they'll learn. Like maybe it's because I'm getting older. I don't know. I think like I'm just like experiencing life and I'm just like, okay, I have to process my shit now. This doesn't work like it did when I was 23. And now I'm just like slowing down, processing info, taking care of myself first. And if I don't want to do something, I just don't fucking do it.
That makes me very happy to hear.
Yeah. I love you. Nina, you've helped me more than you could ever even know. You have no idea. But
What does purpose mean to you?
So my purpose, I always thought was, my purpose has changed over time, or I've never known it until now. I've never known it really, because I would be like, okay, my purpose is to make amazing hair. My purpose is to be an amazing salon owner. My purpose is to help train people. My purpose is to whatever. Like, it's like you're filling out a paper. Like I've done your workshop so many times and I still can't figure out my purpose. And lately that clarity has come to me because I have a little more space to like think about it. And And I keep saying it. It's like if you're walking in the woods and you have like all this luggage on you or all these bags on you and you see something amazing, you can't pick it up unless you let go of some of the other shit. So for me, my purpose is just like my why. What I do is I want to bring people together and I want to help people have breakthroughs and like stop saying the same thing over and over and like have the breakthroughs that I did. And I want to use my experience and the way that I teach and the way that I can communicate with people helps them do that. I've seen it happen so many times. And there's like a moment where you say like, I have something special. I'm going to help as many fucking people as I can. And I can't do that from here. I have to do it this way.
I love that. I love that very much. What, any advice you'd give your younger self? Even though you're so fucking young still?
Oh my God, my younger self, I would just be like, keep playing soccer, or keep playing sports. I would say I would, because like I stopped playing soccer because I cared what everybody thought about me. And I was just like being bullied by the girls on my team. I do one of their hair right now. Actually, it's really funny.
Wow.
But yeah, it's full circle, man. But I stopped playing soccer and I started getting into like a lifestyle of like, you know, just being a little asshole, partying too much, and just like the habits of partying, drinking, eating like shit. You know, one of the biggest things that I'm going to focus on for the rest of my life is being healthy. Like, cause I've taken for granted my body. Like you only get one fucking life. Like to take care of your body. And like when I was at a spa day in Vegas, and it was like, I didn't go there to get pampered. I went there to heal. Like, it was like, I've just like been realizing more and more that like I'm a person and I'm not just like this fucking whirlwind coming through. Like, I just want to really take care of myself, get grounded, you know? And I think that if in high school, if I had kept playing sports and not become a little party animal, maybe it would be a little better. I guess I would say that, like what I just said to my younger self, be like, bitch, you are only here once. You need to get your shit together.
I love that. I also think that a lot of those experiences that you've gone through obviously have brought you to this new awareness, which, you know, there's so many gifts in that pain. And I've watched you over the last couple of years really, really, really discover those. And it's really inspiring and I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to hang out with you. Can we talk about what we're up to in August?
Yes. So in August, we have a double class. So the first class is on hold on, I don't want to say the wrong date, on live TV.
On live TV. It's the 11th.
The 11th. Okay, perfect. Yes, because I have one in July too. We have a lot of collabs happening. And the August 11th class, I'm calling it the Get Empowered Collab, the Masters Collab. This is with me, Joshua Ladner at It's Mr. J. Ladner, Larissa Dahl, and Nina. And we're doing a class all about, you know, some fun color techniques, but also all of us have amazing stories. And we can't wait to share all of those with you guys. Yes. And then on the 12th, we have such an amazing fundraiser. It's for One Pulse Foundation. It's our Rainbow Hair fundraiser. So what we're trying to do is raise $100,000 in beauty school scholarships for the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And a lot of the victims were hairstylists. And what we're trying to do is raise money to give beauty school scholarships to them. And we can renew them every year with a fundraiser. So it's really important. This one, but it's going to be a rainbow hair demo with me and Joshua. Nina's going to be a guest speaker. Kristen and her team from the Dress Code Project will be there, and the amazing people from One Pulse Foundation will be there. So it'll be a really awesome event. And it's just a class ticket. It's $99. We really just want to get as many people there as we can to have an amazing day. So if you want to come, you can always message me and I can give you all the info.
Yeah, please join us. And all the information is also on our website, passionsquare.net. Okay. Oh my gosh. We've been talking forever and we could talk forever and ever, but we got to wrap this up. So I do have one last question. Do you have a favorite quote?
Yes, I do. And I'm stealing it from, I heard it from Britt Siva, and it's some other quote that she had found. It's like it's like telephone quote. The quote is, someone once told me the definition of hell. on the last day on earth, the person you have become will meet the person you became. And what that tells me is on the last day of my life, I want to make sure that when I meet, if I ever got the opportunity to meet the person I could have become, that I'm that person. So I'm just trying to be the best that I can on this earth.
That's awesome. Where can we find you on the internet?
Oh, I am Gina Bianca on Instagram, at the Network Salon, at Elevated Artist, at my new page is Hair Education USA, where we're posting educator classes. I'm all over Instagram. Just come find me.
Come find you. Gina, thank you so much for hanging out with us on the podcast. I love you. I'm incredibly proud of you. And I can't wait to hang out with you in August.
I can't wait. Thank you so much, Nina. It's an honor and a privilege. I love being here with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. To learn more about Passion Squared, you can visit us at passionsquared.net. You can find us on the gram and on Facebook at Passion Squared. And be sure to subscribe and share with your friends. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an awesome day, guys. Love you.